Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 1, Semester 2 Review, Units 9 and 12. Remember to show your work and place your final answers on the line. We're going to start with Unit 9 and polynomials. So, it tells us to find the sum, and you can tell that because there's a nice plus sign in the middle. So, the first thing we're going to do is, since we don't have to change anything, I'm just going to rewrite this without the parentheses. The first one always stays the same. And now I'm going to find things that are the same. Anything with that 2x cubed? No. What about the 5x squared? Well, there's something. The 6x and the negative 10x, and then the 4 is all by itself. Okay? So, 2x cubed stays the same. The green, negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3x squared. The 6 and the 10 is negative 4x, and then positive 4. Is there anything else that's the same? I don't think so. So I'm going to transfer that on to the line. Let's see if I can get it there. And that's our final answer. Okay? All right. Number 3 says to find the difference. Now, when we're finding the difference, we're subtracting. But on the back side, we need to think that we are multiplying everything by negative 1. So I'm going to rewrite the front one because nothing changed. Okay? And now on the back, negative 1 times negative 5 is positive 5x cubed, negative 4x squared, positive 10x, and positive 1. Okay? So let's find things that are the same. Negative 5x cubed and positive 5x cubed, those guys actually cancel each other out. Squared and squared is going to give us negative 6x squared. Negative 5x and 10x, that gives us a positive 5x. And finally, 6 and 1 gives us positive 7. And can we combine any of those? We can't. So that's our final answer. Right, number 5 says to categorize the polynomial by degree and number of terms. We look for the highest degree. We have 2, 1, and this one actually is 0, so the highest one is 2, and if it's 2, that means it's quadratic. And now by number of terms, 1, 2, 3. So it's a quadratic trinomial. Okay? Now, what polynomial must be added to 4x cubed plus 10x squared minus 6x so that the sum is 10x squared plus 9x minus 4? So what we're going to do, I'm going to write the first one. Okay? And we're going to add something to it to get 10x squared. Oops. I have to line everything up so it's in the right order. 10x squared plus 9x minus 4. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure in the blanks so we get these answers. Okay? So let's think about this. 4x cubed plus what gives me nothing. So it's pretty much saying I want my x cubes to cancel out. Well, it's got to be a negative 4x cubed. Okay? 10x squared plus nothing. We're going to leave that one blank. So negative 6x plus what gives us 9? I was already saying the answer. That's a positive 15x, and I have nothing on the top here, so this is just going to be negative 4. So what we need to add is negative 4x cubed plus 15x minus 4, and that's how we get that answer. Okay? All right. 9. Find the product. Remember that we need to multiply, and we talked about 2 different ways to multiply. You can multiply in the box method, or you can FOIL. Okay? I'm going to FOIL. So 7x times 7x gives me 49x squared. 7x times negative 8 gives me negative 56x. Positive 8 times 7 gives me positive 56x. And then 8 times negative 8 gives me negative 64. My middle terms, those cancel out, and we're left with 49x squared minus 64. Okay? Now, number 11, 6x squared. Remember that that tells us how many of the bases we have. So that's 6x minus 7 times 6x minus 7. Okay? And now, you can FOIL or use the box. Since I FOILed the last one, I'll do box method here. So 6x minus 7, 6x minus 7. 6 times 6 gives us 36x squared. 6 times 7 is negative 42x. Negative 42x, and negative 7 times negative 7 is positive 49. We look for our like terms, and we are going to combine those up, and we get 36x squared minus 84x plus 49. Alrighty, let's flip it over. Okay, find the product. Why don't you guys pause the video and see if you can do it either FOIL or box on your own. Good luck. Okay, I showed this one doing it both ways, the FOIL and the box. There are no like terms, so the last thing to do is just make sure that you write everything in the correct order. Okay, so 5x to the 4th plus 10x cubed minus 4x squared minus 8x. All right, number 15. 15, I am going to do this in the box method just because we have a lot of information, and I want to keep everything nice and organized. Okay, my x plus 2 is on the left side, and we have 3x squared plus 6x minus 13. Okay, 3x squared times x is 3x cubed. We get positive 6x squared and negative 13x. Okay, and now we're multiplying everything by 2. We get 6x squared plus 12x minus 26. Okay, and now I'm looking for my like terms. Oops. There they are. So our final answer is 3x cubed plus 12x squared. We got minus x minus 26. And that's your final answer. All right, number 17 says a rectangle has sides that measure x plus 6 and 2x plus 1. Find the area of the rectangle. So there's our rectangle. One side is x plus 6, and the other side is 2x plus 1. Okay, so we're finding the area. Area equals your length times the width. So we have 2x plus 1 times x plus 6. And you can do FOIL or box method. Okay, I'm going back and forth today. So we got 2x squared plus 12x plus 1x plus 6. Let's combine your like terms. And we get 2x squared. This is area equals 2x squared plus 13x plus 6. Okay? So that is our area. However, the one thing they didn't tell us was what the units were. But we know that it's going to be whatever the units are, they're going to be squared. All right, our favorite, factoring polynomials. Okay, we always check for GCF. Okay, now 21, 14, and 42, I know for a fact I can take a 7 out of all of those numbers. Okay, now, do they all have x's? No, they don't. But do they all have y's? They do. And so I'm looking for the smallest y out of all of those, because that means I can only take away 2 y's. All right? Now, your GCF does not disappear. That goes out front. Okay? And now we start to divide everything. 21 divided by 7 is 3. The x stays. And then we have y to the 5th. 14 divided by 7 is 2. X squared. And then we're left with positive 42 divided by 7 is 6 y squared. And that's our final answer. All right, number 21. Same thing, we have to factor out the GCF first, and that does not go away, it goes out front. We're left with x squared minus 25. That is the difference of two squares. One's a plus, one's a minus. The square root of x squared is x, and the square root of 5 is 5. And that's how we get 4, x plus 5, x minus 5. Okay. Flip it over. Factor. So what you're looking for now is always check to see if there's a GCF. In this case, there's not. So we would do a times c, and we're looking for numbers that add up to get to negative 24. Oh, I'm sorry. That add to get to negative 10 and multiply to negative 24. Okay? Now, if you need to go off to the side and write down what the factors of 24 are, do it. Okay? So you can get the right combination. However, both of those have to be negative. And let's see, negative 4, negative 6. Does that work? No. And so it has to work in both cases, guys. Okay. What about 2 and 12? 2 and negative 12, well, that works. And 2 and negative 12, that works. So by splitting the middle term, we get x squared plus 2x minus 12x minus 24. Draw the line down the middle. If you want to factor out the x, you're left with x plus 2. Back here we factor out a negative 12, and we're left with x plus 2. And that's how we get x plus 2, x minus 12. All right? Now, in class, we also talked about another way to do this. All right, and And that is by writing, once you split the middle term, we can start taking out the GCF this way, okay? The GCF of the top is x. The GCF of the bottom is negative 12. The GCF of the left side is x, and the GCF of the right side is positive 2. And what do you know? What are we left with? Our two binomials. Okay? So it's whatever way you feel most comfortable doing. Now, 25. Is there a GCF? No. So we need to, once again, multiply those two guys. And now we're looking for numbers that add up to get to 5 and multiply to get to negative 24. Okay? And I'm going to cheat because we just did that, and 3 and 8. Okay? So 3 and 8, 3 and 8, and the 3 is negative. So we get 2x squared minus 3x plus 8x minus 12, whichever way you want to do it. The GCF of x, and here it's positive 4. So the GCF comes out front, and we're left with 2x minus 3. Our GCF of 4, we're left with 2x minus 3, because that's good. We want those two to match up, which show that we did this right. So we get 2x minus 3, and then our other binomial of x plus 4. Okay, which one cannot be factored? Well, when we're trying to figure out our factors, we want numbers that add up to get to 9 and multiply to get to negative 20. Or here, we would add up to negative 8 and multiply to negative 20. Just to make this easier, we got 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. Okay? Well, for this one, let's check 4 and 5. Yay! But does 4 times 5 give us negative 20? Boo! And there's no other numbers that work. What about on the right side? 2 and negative 10, because it's negative 8, and 2 and negative 10. So which one cannot be factored? The x squared plus 9x minus 20. We're making you think, guys. Get used to it. Okay? It's not too hard. All right. Last one, Unit 12, Rational Expressions. So, first thing I notice on the bottom is that the squareds here, so I'm just going to write another n minus 7. Okay? So, I know that my m minus 7s cancel. I have more w's on the bottom, and then I need to reduce 48 over 16. Well, 48 over 16 is 3. My w's on the bottom win by 5, and then we're left with m minus 7. So all we're really doing is canceling and reducing right there. Okay? Now, my 2x cubed minus 8x. 2x cubed minus 8x. I can factor out an x, and then I'm left with x squared minus 4. Now, I've been paying attention in class, so I know that we can factor that. That's the difference of two squares, and it's plus 2 and minus 2. Okay? So on the top is x plus 2, x minus 2. Now, we have to factor the x squared minus 4x plus 4. break that down to negative 2x and negative 2x. And now by using any of the ways above, you need to know how to factor that, okay? It ends up being x minus 2 and x minus 2. Now, we can only cancel things out that are 100% exactly the same. Okay? So, guys, I'm sorry. I actually factored out a 2x here, and I didn't tell you. Okay? But that should be a 2x. I apologize. But anyways, the x minus 2's cancel, and we're left with 2x, x plus 2, all over x minus 2. And since those aren't 100% exactly the same, we can't cancel them. Okay? All right. Number 33. I'm going to do this one on a separate sheet of paper. And we have the y squared minus 25. We have to factor that. We have the 4y squared minus 12y. We have y up. Y squared plus 2y minus 15. And then the 8y. Well, nothing can really happen with that 8y, so you're good. Let's move this one over so we have a little bit more room. All right. This ends up being y plus 5, y minus 5. Here we can factor out a 4y. So the 4y comes out front, and we're left with y minus 3. We're thinking of numbers that add up to get to 2, but multiply to get to negative 15. And that's negative 3 and 5. And when you factor that out, you get y minus 3 and y plus 5. Okay? And the 8y stays the same. So that's how we did all that factoring. Now I'm going to come back here and just kind of write where everything goes. Y plus 5, y minus 5. And then we did y plus, oh, I'm sorry, y minus 3, y plus 5. 8y's on the bottom. And we got 4y, y minus 3. Okay? So, y plus 5, y plus 5. Y minus 3, y minus 3. Y and y. 4 and 8, the 4 cancels out. The 8 turns into a 2. And so we get y minus 5 over 2. Okay? You have to be very careful when you're doing this. Okay? Okay, division. We have to flip this. Alright, so when we flip it, it would be m squared minus 8m, m to the 10th, m to the 11th comes out on top, and then we got m squared minus 64. Okay? So breaking these down little by little, m squared minus 8m, we'll take out our GCF of m, and we're left with m minus 8. Okay? Nothing can be done to the 10th or to the 11th, but to our m squared minus 64, we can factor that to m plus 8, m minus 8. Okay? So all I'm going to do is come over here and rewrite everything. And on the bottom we said that was m plus 8, m minus 8. our m minus 8's cancel. m10 doesn't completely cancel. We're left with m to the 1. So on the top, we've got m and m, which gives us m squared. And on the bottom, we still have the m plus 8. Okay? And that's all we can do for that. Well, guys, this was kind of a longer video, but that's all we've got for Algebra 1 Semester 2 Units 9 and 12 review. If you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. Otherwise, thanks for watching.